who's here.
Look who's here. Oh my God, he just popped in and he's dancing. Tim Moss is back with us live today at PANGEA on If These Walls Could Talk. So good to see you again,
so
Tim.
good to see you, darling.
It's so great.
Wendy Stuart Tym Moss.
Yeah.
If These Walls Could Talk.
And thank you all for tuning in today. He's been hither, dither, and yonder. And you know what? I've done so many events. I can't even remember all of them.
I know.
Last Friday night was New York Model Society, and we did a fabulous Night of 1,000 Marilyns event with a pageant.
Incredible.
Prince Stephen from Mongolia was there. You've met the prince, haven't you? Have you?
No, I don't think I met him.
Oh my gosh, he's like descendant of Genghis Khan.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. And he always has like really cool things from Mongolia with him, scrolls and all these Mongolian things. And he's got medals on him. So he was like our guest of honor. He sponsored it. It was New York Model Society, which is Robert Sosa.
Mm-hmm.
We had the interviews that Ike and I got to do with the ladies of the pageant. Oh my God. We had
all the Marilyns.
There were so many Marilyns, so little
and
time.
You rocked a good Marylyn.
I did. I rocked a good Marylyn, and I lip sang to "Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend," which we all had such a good time. And then, all right, so this show.
I actually watched that earlier today.
You did? Oh.
I just wanted to see the opening number of Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. I sat through the whole thing as I'm getting ready to come here.
Song.
I'm like, "Diamonds Are a Girl's
best song ever."
Tiffany.
But my life is so crazy, Tim, because this week I actually booked a job for a Walmart industrial.
Oh, wow.
I had to come like with a business look. Can you imagine? Girlfriend was hunting through her closet. I thank God I kept like business suits of yesteryear.
Yeah.
You know, I got them there. They were all the way in the back and they were like crushed and everything. But, you know, a good business suit never goes out of style.
Absolutely.
I mean, you know, needless to say, I was ready to jump out of my skin the whole day.
Yeah.
But the client was absolutely lovely.
Boa, huh?
There was no boa, and I was all
God.
in gray. Everyone was like in gray or in a dark color. And you know, you're in business for me is so uptight. The jacket, the shirt underneath it, the skirt. I couldn't do the pantyhose. That would have sent me over the freaking edge. That's all I can tell you. But you know, it shows us how diverse our worlds are.
Right. And again, in acting and modeling and all of that, we get to do things that most people don't get to do, like dress up as this and dress up as that.
We get to like fun. Pretend and play
then put on a Marylyn outfit and go be a judge and a.
Because you never know. And you know what? You got to be able to think on your feet really quick because there's never a plan.
Mm-hmm.
They book people for things and there's never, ever a plan.
Right.
So,
and usually even when you have something scheduled, like a show or something, it rarely goes as planned.
Right.
So you've always got to be flexible and ready.
Welcome to our world. So what's up with you for Labor Day?
Firstly, I just wanted to say, I need to apologize to you. I still feel bad. While we were at the event the other night, which was so much fun. At the event the other night, our drinks were sitting side by side on the table, and it was very dark. And I picked up a drink and took a sip of it, and I was like, "Oh my God, there's a lot of alcohol in there."
That was my drink.
That was her drink. And she had just. And actually, if you want to mention what. Because I didn't realize I had taken a sip.
Do you want me to mention that what was in my drink?
No,
I need to share that with the fact that I'm a low level. No, I'm just kidding.
No, just that you had happened to you previously, and you.
Well, when I had it happen the last time, I got COVID. So needless to say, thank God we knew that the lips that had been on that drink were Tim, and he had COVID weeks earlier.
Yeah, and so I just got tested. I'm negative.
And you just got tested.
But God only knows, with my lips touching that, God only knows where these lips have been.
Well, yeah, heaven only knows what these lips have touched. Isn't that the truth?
Yes.
So tell everyone what they're watching.
Well, you're watching. Well, firstly, Labor Day weekend, I'm going to be in town. But again, I'm still like disoriented from all the travel because I have been on the road since May. And I'm still kind of catching up and catching my breath and all of that. So I'm a little out of sorts, but I've had a ball. I've just been having a ball traveling around. But I just want to say thank you very much for tuning into If These Walls Could Talk with your hosts, Wendy Stuart and Tym Moss. And we will be right back with our special guest, Vegas Valentine. Okay, so tell us about our guest today.
Oh my God. So, okay.
Oh,
So
yeah.
this particular guest, Vegas Valentine, is really near to my heart because I first actually met him at the fabulous Glam Awards. But let's face it, the Glam Awards, everyone's throwing shade left and right. And this person was like, I knew he was a performer, but it was the way he had adorned himself. It was what he was wearing, and the makeup was like impeccable. I'm like, who the hell are you? And introduces himself, and we kind of knew each other from Facebook. And you know what? He had the most incredible sensibility, and it was before we had this show because there was no COVID then. It was like, so okay. And then, as we all know, 2 years went by. Saw him at the Glam Awards this year, and this was sporting a whole different look. It was like, it was a little bloody, it was a little scary, it was extremely fierce. And I'm like, my God, Vegas Valentine sure does have a range. And then the piece de resistance, to be able, I knew Vegas's videos, which were fabulous. I got to see Vegas Valentine perform live right here at PANGEA at Kobe Cole's show, the Madonna tribute. And not only a brilliant performer, but it's a tiny stage here. He had choreographed 2 other people with him. The choreography, it was impeccable. They were like winding themselves around each other, and the whole entire performance just completely, it drew you in. There was like nothing else on your mind except focusing on what was happening on that stage. And let me tell you, anybody that can do that is pure magic, pure talent. Let's give a round of applause for Vegas Valentine. How are you? Oh my God, it's so good to see you.
We gotta scoot in.
Yeah, we have to scoot in, but you're a tiny little thing, so it's like we don't have to make that much room for you.
Hi guys. Mwah, mwah. Hi Tim.
Yeah, and you can lean forward a little, so right.
Get the full
Right. Yeah. Oh, I love this. So we need a 3-picture after.
Yeah.
Of course, you look fabulous.
I had to dress nice for y'all.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're so appreciated. Thank you.
Well, you are so appreciated. Before we do anything, I really just want to say to everybody out there and to you both, thank you so much, because during 2020 it was hard for all of us, but you guys came out there and shared yourselves with the world, which is a hard thing for anybody to do in general, not with the overlying circumstances, but it also gives people permission to do the same. And I appreciate it did not go unnoticed. It definitely like helped me in that way of like, oh yeah, you know what? It's okay to like engage with people. It's okay to like plug into like the community, even though we're separated. And
because the community was there, okay, and we all had to build better mousetraps. How do we connect with what was going on? Because you know the deal with me, Vegas, I was bitter that a career that took me decades to build all of a sudden came to a crashing halt.
Which was built by going from this place to that place to this place and this.
And my biggest client just stopped calling. It was a huge amount. It was a financial loss. It was mentally, this is like messed up. And you know what? I wasn't taking it sitting down, and neither was this guy over here. Tim and I, my God, we froze our tootsies off with outdoor dining. I was putting together outdoor dinners to motivate people under heat lamps, saying, oh, isn't this great? It wasn't. There was nothing. There was nothing great about
it. The great part was we were together.
We were together
in person. We had a little pod of friends that we would get together every few months, and it was glorious to see everybody.
It was glorious, and we put lots of pictures up on social media because other people would see that, and it was like, girls, you need to get out of your house. You need to get out of your house, see your friends. You're in the fresh air. Chances are you contracting this are going to be small. And then, of course, we got the vaccines and the boosters. I've had COVID 3 times. You know what? Doing the best I can here, like everyone else. Definitely getting the booster in the fall. We'll have to sign up for it like everything else.
But thank you. That was very sweet.
Thank you for all the kind compliments too. I appreciate that. And I don't know. I mean, you mentioned that we met at the Glam Awards.
We did.
But I want to actually say too that we met once before that. I think we were
all one big memory.
You and I think I met you through Steve Brennan. once.
Do I know this person?
Perhaps. Well, I don't know. We were all out together with a group of people.
And where were we?
I don't remember.
So many cocktails, so little time.
Right.
No, in the beauty of it, Vegas, I have to tell you, it used to bother me that everything is one big freaking lump.
Right there.
But it doesn't, you know. But I will Google Steve Brennan. He's on Facebook.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Listen to me. He's on
Steve
Facebook.
Brennan. That sounds so familiar.
Yeah.
Well, you know
He's a
everybody.
great guy,
Yeah, I should. Yeah, I'm sure I know
Maybe
him.
it
I
was
can't-
Tim
That's
who
all right.
was.
Yeah.
I met you
Yeah.
at the Glam Awards for sure.
Okay.
That I gave you a very masked interview.
Yes.
I had
Okay,
a
that's why I
disco
didn't recognize
adorned
you.
mask.
That
Yes.
was so fabulous. Yes,
Good.
you were incredible.
I'm glad.
Incredible.
I'm glad I got to talk with you, even though I was behind the shields. You know,
Uh-huh.
Behind.
Yeah.
Because again, I
The
mean, I
shield.
thought that was
Yeah.
your thing.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
Sierra or Sia.
Yeah.
Or so you
Oh,
know
it was
where you don't want your face shown or something.
Well, it was a three piece outfit sort of that like changed over time.
Oh,
you know,
throughout the night.
throughout the night.
That's
Yeah.
hot. That's
So like
hot.
time travel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, because Vegas is into like space pirate
Yeah.
and everything
We have
that's
got
connected with
so
all of
much
that.
to talk.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was like a time travel.
Yeah.
You're so interesting.
Thank
I
you.
just want to know everything about
But,
you.
All right,
well,
great.
let's start with the
Let's start.
outfit at the Glam Awards.
Yes.
Did you make that outfit?
I made the jacket and I made the headpiece, the
Oh
glowing
my
headpiece.
Going
God.
it was beautiful.
Yeah.
How in the world did you do this?
Well, the jacket already had the sort of the base for it, and I it was already splattered with blood from a previous fake blood.
There you
Fake
go.
blood from
Okay,
a previous
I don't need to know.
I'm
From a
putting
previous,
blood on
uh,
everything I wear.
from a previous piece, right? And the story that I was trying to tell was, I mean, there was a video that I released called Fathoms, where there's
Mhm.
a big monster chasing
Yeah.
me through a city, and that big monster's got this giant eyeball that's like searching for me through the city,
Cyclops
right? It's a
monster.
Cyclops monster,
Right.
very sort of Stranger Things adjacent, and the story I was trying to tell at the Glam Awards was that I had killed the monster, I beheaded it,
Uh-huh.
like it was the trauma that I had like finally overseen. And you know, when I walk in, I've got this glamorous mask, like, oh yeah, I'm a mighty warrior, I'm a mighty hero. But then when I take off the mask, I'm bloodied. So
Right.
I didn't come
Ooh,
out
I
of it
love that.
unscathed.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Is the story. And just
That's
like COVID, like we've all been through it, and like we're trying to put on our armor, our
Yeah.
warrior faces or
Right.
But
whatever.
we still got
But there's
scars.
There's
We got-
scars,
yeah.
you know,
Right.
and it's okay
Thank you.
to show, you know what I mean?
I
And
love
then
that.
and then the last piece was me like wearing the thing on my head, like, you know, like a full crazy person, fully
Yeah.
unhinged. Fully unhinged. I'm just wearing it on my head and blood's dripping down my face.
Were a lot of people
Yeah.
asking you like what your costume meant that night?
I
Or
think
are they just like
I think they were just enjoying
in
it.
awe?
Yeah.
They were just
enjoying it.
But I
and-
love the
But if anyone asks,
transformation.
Oh my God, I
Yeah.
love, don't you love hearing the
Yeah.
whole story behind it?
Absolutely.
The one thing I
That's
have to
creative,
say
very
that
creative.
it was very creative. And the thing I loved about this last Glam Awards, we were, you know, it was our first one since the whole COVID nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There were people there, honest to God, like you used to see people that were up for awards dressed like this.
Right.
There were people, so many people there. I'm like, what award are you up for? Oh no, I just really wanted to, you know, serve it up tonight. I love that. I
Yeah,
love that.
it's
They
the
had like
ball.
a day job and they spent all their time, you know, thinking about what costume they were
Mhm.
going to put together for the Glam Awards. That is the commitment of our community.
For sure. It's the ball. Like,
It's the
you
ball.
know,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, award shows always have their faults and their flaws and stuff, you know, and everybody we wish everyone could win every single time, you know, for everything.
Mhm. Right.
But it's still the ball.
It's the
still
ball.
Right.
it's still where we can all get together and celebrate each other's
dress up.
achievements.
Right,
And
and-
dress
That
up.
was
Right.
the
And
fashion was
the
off the
fashion was
hook.
great. The entertainment was what
Yes.
it was like blow away. It was
Yeah.
nonstop. I mean, what could be better for
Yeah.
for any of
Absolutely.
And
us?
Tim, I loved having a microphone by my mouth. It was very, you know, I just like the shape.
Yes,
Right?
very oral.
Tim likes things by his
Fixation.
mouth too.
Yeah, so thank you for that.
I'm happy to share my microphone with you
right.
I love
anytime.
it. Love it.
You
Yes.
can. Tim's quite a guy. You can always
Well,
tell.
you are watching If These Walls Could Talk with your hosts, Wendy Stuart and Tym Moss, and our wonderful, wonderful guest, the fabulous Vegas Valentine.
So this is what's I've been thinking about,
Yeah.
and believe it or not, it's a dumb, stupid question. Every guest I have on this show, I really I kind of am able to get where they came from, how they evolved to who they are.
Mhm.
You, girl, I got nothing on. What I'm seeing is what's presented. So I don't even know where you're from or
Well,
where did you grow up?
I'll give you the Spartans for sure. I grew up in St. Louis.
Missouri.
Yeah, Missouri.
I'm from Indiana.
Yeah, well, I don't. It's funny because you ever ask somebody if they're from LA, they say they're, or they say they're from California. You know what I mean? But if you ask somebody that's from Chicago, where are you from? They say, I'm from Chicago. They don't say Illinois.
Right.
And same as for St. Louis. Like, I don't claim Missouri. I claim St. Louis, though. Very, very blue city in a very red state.
Right. Yes, that's true.
But I moved here when I was 22 years old with not much, honestly.
So you moved here on your own?
On my own.
Wow.
And
same here.
Yeah.
I moved in with $200 and a suitcase and a piece of foam mattress to lay on the floor.
That was about it. Yep.
Yeah,
that was about it.
You brought the mattress.
But see, I love that. I love that because you're following your passion.
Kindness of strangers, kindness of lovers, and
lovers can be kind.
Yeah. Yes, lovers can be kind. I prefer them to be kind.
That is better when they're kind.
I like it when they're naughty too.
But I just want to go back a little bit because coming to New York, that's very pivotal. What kind of house did you grow up in? You're obviously a very creative person. Where is all this coming
Art
from?
runs in the family for sure. My father was in advertising, and my mom was an art director. She's a photographer.
Oh, Lordy. Okay, I love this.
My little brother's a jack of all trades. Everything he touches, he's super, super talented at. And I've got two other siblings too. My sister's a scientist, so she sort of broke the mold a little bit. But we all definitely have our creative,
and it was supported obviously in your family.
Yes, I mean to the degree that they said yes, you can go to school for this. Yes,
what did you go to school for?
But I had to kind of blaze my own trail as far as then doing it in reality.
Right. What did you study?
I studied acting, dance, and music.
Of course.
But I honestly think I've gotten more practicum here doing it.
Oh my God!
I learned more doing it than I did in school.
Same here. Yeah. My teacher is experience.
Yeah,
I cannot sit in a room and read about somebody else's experience. I have to get out there and do it myself.
And if I look at your body of work here, your videos and everything, it doesn't have anything to do with studying acting in school. Yes, the performance thing is there. You see that, but the makeup, the clothing, and the way, and the storyboards for your videos, no one taught you that.
No, school didn't teach me that. I mean, life taught me those things. Like going through the things that I had to go through, just life wise. Those taught me how to think creatively and how to
interpret.
Interpret those things. Yeah. And I'm a gamer. I love fantasy, so I love creating that that world to see the lens to see things through.
And that's amazing. And you're gonna kill me on this. Your sister is a scientist, but that is a form of science also. Being able to create those kinds of worlds, gaming and science, right now, because I know it's people that. Thank you. Yeah. It's like the new way of things. So it's really incredible. I wonder if something will end up affecting your sister to make her more like you, because your ability as a gamer is definitely coming from a scientific basis.
Well, it's funny because she would often sit with me and we'd play games, and she'd be my bookkeeper. She'd be like, "Oh, you missed this thing back here. You got to go back and get it." So it definitely, we've had that sort of synergy and compatibility.
But something that I would love to do with you.
What?
Well, I mean, perform on stage is one thing.
Yeah.
But metaverse.
The
metaverse, like in the 3D with the
VR.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that'd be great.
Together.
Yeah.
I've never done a VR.
Tim's got the thing.
Neither, but we've got it. Yeah.
You've got the glasses.
I would love, with your creativity. I would love to do something like that.
Signed on. Yeah, I'm signed on.
Sign on to the metaverse now. So you started also producing when you came here. You didn't do any of that before.
Well, I had a rough go when I first moved here. It was 2011, and I sort of had to find my way a little bit. I had to find, and I got really bogged down with just having to trying to survive.
Exactly.
How did you do that? How did you do that initially? It's a tough one.
I mean, I got a job at Magnolia Bakery.
Oh my God, I love Magnolia.
Let's hear it from Magnolia.
Humble beginnings.
Sex in the City.
Right?
Vegas Valentine Sex.
No, but that pays the bills.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And
seriously.
It was a survival job, but I don't have a single bad thing to say about it. And and
How
then
did you stay so
from
thin?
there,
Yeah, right. No, you're right. You are. Were you thin then?
Yeah, I think I did get. I must have gained a little weight.
8
then.
pounds.
But
maybe.
I can't. I mean, it's that is removed enough for me that I can't really totally remember. But from there, just kind of worked survival job after survival job, and I didn't really start funding my art until there were a couple of things that happened. I got involved in a really an intense 4-year relationship.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of it shaped me, and a lot of it showed me what I the direction that I didn't want to go.
Right. That's part of the journey.
It showed me
Right.
it showed me all the things that I I was in a period of growth that whole time. 22 to 27. That's a lot.
It's huge.
It's for that to be a relationship, and it so a lot of it shaped me, but then I had some experiences right after that relationship too that catapulted me into making music for real.
Okay.
And
so that's really interesting.
But firstly, you're watching If These Walls Could Talk.
Yeah.
With your host Wendy Stuart Tym Moss and our wonderful guest, the fabulous Vegas Valentine.
Oh, these walls are talking.
We're spilling the tea.
Yeah.
All right.
So
How
you
did
were
that
saying-
relationship affect you going into
and
music?
catapult you into the music?
Well, there's a song I wrote called Red Neon Light. It's one of my favorites off of the album Nocturne.
Yeah. Nocturne.
It's the ballad, and the second verse I say, I swam to the heart of the sea where the angels all waited for me. It was not as it seemed, but for years there I dreamed and prayed silently for my release. And so I basically dove into this submerged, beautiful world that I thought was everything I needed. There were angels there. It was comforting. It was beautiful, but it was not what it seemed. It was, wasn't growing. I wasn't expanding. I wasn't challenging myself. And so I prayed for my release, and then, as the song goes on, you learn that I kind of in not so many words, I described that I just basically panicked and found a way out.
A lot of times, fear, anger, all those heavy emotions are what will propel you to take that step.
Yeah.
For me, it's anger.
So from that, you made this song about that experience.
Yes, I mean, and it's the song is also about trusting that where you're going, trusting that forward is the right direction. So that's probably that's one of the songs on the album. The album as a whole describes a grieving process, because I did go through some trauma right after the relationship was over that wasn't due to the relationship. The relationship wasn't.
Oh God! And then you have more piled on.
Yeah,
something else.
But the old adage, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and that is the God's honest truth. But we have to remember when we're going through it, right? That you just say that to yourself instead of saying, "Oh my God, I'm a victim. I'm this. I'm that. This is terrible." You have to. There's a reason.
Yeah. It's okay to acknowledge, I think, that when you've been made a victim, but I don't think you can let that.
No, you can't let it rule you. It can't define you or rule you, right?
And because you have basically two choices. Either you can allow it to affect you negatively for the rest of your life and hold on to it, or you can learn from it and move on.
Obviously, you learn from it. But to Tim's point, there are people, I know people that have been, they're still freaking harping on the same thing, and it holds people back.
Yeah.
But it didn't hold you back.
Yeah, well, I mean, you try to peel the layers away and find, and keep going inward, so that you can expand outward.
Right.
I mean, that's a little heady, I guess.
But I love your perception which is always move forward, like move ahead, grow, expand. And the only way to do that, a lot of times, there's a lot of good that happens that will help you expand and grow, but there's also pain and there's also sorrow.
Yeah. And there's also a reckoning with the part of you that screwed up too. Like, you know, you got to be able to look at yourself and be like, oh, that was shitty. I didn't, you know. I didn't handle that in the best way.
Right.
Because, but that's the learning curve, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, 10 years from now, you'll be able to look back and not make that mistake again. Look at us. We don't make any mistakes at all.
No,
we're perfect.
Paragons of virtue on either side of me.
It's so hard every day of my life. I'm so perfect.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, perfect. But as soon as the camera rolls,
this is your chance to act like rebels, right? When the cameras are on, right? Got it. Okay.
Oh my God! So now, I'm sorry. Rewinding back to college or school, did you study? Was it musical theater?
Yes, it was. Okay. I mean, I initially got accepted into an acting program, but I really wanted more. Like there was a dance teacher that really wanted me to, she was like, you should really be a dance major. You should really, like, you know, do this. And so I re-auditioned for the musical theater program. I got accepted, and I feel like the things that I really learned more than anything were things like discipline and things like, you know, professionalism and being prepared,
technique,
you know, and vocal technique for sure. I think that found its way to me a little later because my voice just had to grow.
Right. Good point.
I was too. I think that sometimes Pink said this once: education is wasted on the young because we don't know what we're interested in yet.
Right.
But also with voice, your voice will start to develop. I saw opera this weekend, and girl was incredible. She started out as a musical theater performer. She was a little kid that could sing, became a musical theater performer, only found that opera voice like in her late 20s and realizing her opera voice was bigger and better than any of the musical theater stuff she had done. So, but it took the time.
For sure. Yeah.
But where do you think you got that innate understanding or ability to where, you know, something inside of you is telling you, no, I need more growth. I need to move forward. I need to, because you're very attuned to that. It sounds like
that is a great question. I mean, I've got great friends around me. Like one of my best friends, my gal pal Gina. Hi Gina, if you're watching.
Hello Gina.
Love you.
She is always the first to tell me. She'll be like, "You're being a bitch right now. You're being a brat." You know what I mean?
She calls you out on your stuff.
Calls me out on my shit.
That's a good friend.
This is a fun anecdote. I was painting I had an apartment in Astoria several years ago, and I was painting it because we wanted the walls painted a fresh coat of paint, and she came over to help do it, and she arrived with food. She was like, "Hi, I'm here. I brought food. I brought bubbles." And she looked and she said, "Oh, you didn't do a very good job." And I was like, "Well, shit. If you're nothing if not honest."
As you're about to wrap up and leave and pack up.
But then he had some bubbles and some food, and he started all over you.
Right.
Well, you're watching If These Walls Could Talk with your host Wendy Stuart and Tym Moss, and our wonderful guest Vegas Valentine. We adore him.
Right. Yeah, I mean I think definitely I've got good friends around me that's
so important.
That not just call me on my bullshit, but ask me questions of like, well, how would you feel if if that continued, or how would you feel about seeing your life go in that direction? You know, and
I love that they do that. They probe.
Yeah.
It's really important, but the people we surround ourselves with is the most important.
Absolutely, because when I was your age, or I'm guessing your age, and I moved to New York, I did not have a good support system around me, and I got pulled into dark depths
for a long time,
for 20 years of drug and alcohol addiction, and just surrounded by these negative, horrifying people and energies. And it took more than I knew that I had to break free and get out of that.
I want to share a song with you later. A new one that I wrote that no one else gets to hear. But I want to share one with you that reminds me a lot of the things that you're talking about. Reminds me of the
but it was, yeah, I was, when you talk about like out there and growing and moving forward, I literally got pulled out of my path into the darkest parts of the forest where I could not find my way back.
Yeah.
And it took years, and at times I still have stuff that flares up. But
you're very lucky.
I'm very fortunate.
Because,
and now,
what changed? What
I am surrounded by the most incredible people.
Creative people.
Was it the people did the creative
well,
people
I had
out of that?
what I call the devil moved in with
it
me.
Is. No.
And life, I was a functioning addict for about 15 to 17 years. And then he moved in and my functioning days ended. And it just went out into the stratosphere.
Right.
And because I was already lost and couldn't find my way back. And then he took me past the point of no return a second time.
I can relate on a probably a low level. I did struggle with addiction for a period of time. So I do understand and see, and
you can relate to that. Yeah.
Yes, for
that
sure.
lost. Yeah. But I'm so glad, I'm so proud of you that you
absolutely
again realized it, moved ahead.
I've also got a really good, like my brother is one of my best friends, and he's
this is your little brother,
my little brother,
who can do everything.
Oh, he can do.
Is he
everything.
up here in New York?
No, he's in LA, the other side of the,
So
he'll lay the groundwork for you there.
Right, for sure. I mean, I think we're probably doing that for each other for sure, and he like. Recently, probably the last like 3 or 4 years or so, we've started to like call each other to like reset each other. It's been very, very good. We share everything, and it's important.
I love that because he's one of the few people on the planet, and these relationships are very rare. That goes back in your own history. It's a rare connection that the two of you share.
He's seen the whole thing.
Right.
And he comes from the same environment that you come from.
Absolutely.
Yeah. In some ways that we're finishing each other's sentences.
Amazing. Like twins.
Yeah, we're like twins, except he's got a twin sister. So that's my sister, the scientist, is his twin.
Is his twin.
Oh my God.
Oh, like
so the other half.
The yin and the yang.
Yeah.
Well, now we have a video of yours. Which what is the name of the video?
Which one are you guys going to show?
The one you sent.
I can't think. It's not random. I keep thinking Fathoms.
I think it's Fathom.
Fathoms. It's one word. I kept thinking random, but it's not random. It's Fathoms.
I have to say, you're so professional. You send everything immediately: bio, picture, video attached. It's like I love working with this guy.
Of course.
So professional, artistic.
All of
intuitive. This is my kind of person.
Are you available before we get to your video?
Available? Like
well, we're selling you right now, right? We're selling you.
I'm available. Slide my DMs.
Okay. Now let's look at the video.
Let's take a look at Fathoms by Vegas.
Et quand les visages vides souvent mes cauchemars, le soleil se couche dans mon cœur. Et quand je pense à ce qui s'est passé cette nuit-là, j'ai pu car passé d'obscurité, j'ai peur. Undertow is dragging me down, words and chained by the past and drowning. I can't seem to summon the sunlight or the courage to stand. I'm sick of screaming, no one can hear me. Hurricanes blow, it's the end of the show. And when nature go back into my mind, and those empty faces, the sun is going down on me. And when I think It's like holy family.
Very out there. Love it.
Bravo.
Gorgeous.
Oh
Absolutely
my
gorgeous.
God. So artistic. It's so incredible.
Right.
Firstly, I just want to say that you're watching If These Walls Could Talk with your host, Wendy Stuart Tym Moss, and our wonderful guest, the incredibly talented Vegas Valentine.
Hey, oh yeah. Yeah.
That
Now this video, oh my God, fathoms.
Yeah.
Firstly, who directed? Who was the director?
Matthew Zanfania directed it, who's worked with John Cameron Mitchell, and I saw him do I saw the one video, I think it's called New American Dream, and I watched that, and there was a lot of play with like miniatures and with like paper and very do-it-yourself stuff, and I thought, like, I think this is the grit and the like mess that I need to make for this song. Because it seems very erratic and sort of almost like panicked. And so I called him, I said, do you want to make a monster movie? I've been like watching a lot of like Jurassic Park and Godzilla. I want to make a monster movie. And I think that like we could like build a like little miniature city and like destroy it. What would you say? And he was like, sign me up. And he took me out to a pier one day and bought me coffee, and he just like acted the whole thing out. And I was like, oh yeah, like we're cooking with gas.
Isn't that the most incredible thing when you find that creative connection?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And this is somebody you already
love
knew.
Him dearly.
You
yeah.
already
knew him.
And
I love that you were already searching and you thought I like something along that line, and then with his input and your input,
and it came together.
Yes.
Yeah. That I would say that like of all the talents that I'm blessed with or whatever, the one that I feel is astounding to me actually is to find the right people. Like that's that's the thing that I always gotta like. I'm not taking that for granted. You know what I mean? Like I just feel like I have a knack for finding the right people to to execute the thing. And those cast members too, like it's Megami, Avant Garbage, who were both.
Yeah, Avant Garbage.
Avant Garbage.
I'm who I met during World Pride. I love Avant Garbage.
Right.
In a bar. I met at a bar, and I'm like, who are you?
Yeah,
the mantis monster. That was Avant.
Okay.
Megami is the Kraken, and then little Nella, who was at the Madonna show.
She was in the with you. Yeah, she did the choreography with you. And
no, she was the running sound that day.
Oh, she did the sound.
Yeah, she was running sound that day, and she was the dragon, and then my dear friend Keith was the giant monster, you know, the giant otherworldly.
You're going to be the giant monster.
We called him the Phantom for a while because we didn't know what.
So what really the other thing I looked at on this is the editing process.
Gnosis
had to be
edited it.
daunting.
Matthew's partner, Gnosis edited it. It's so good, and they did color correction too, which I wasn't. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna spill some tea right now.
Yeah, right.
Is that I wasn't really for the color correction because I feel like it accentuated a lot of like, you know, like you could see makeup lines and pores and stuff. And Matthew said, "No, embrace your humanness." Like, you know.
So he
like
wanted
that.
it rougher. He wanted it more rough.
He wanted it more
Wow.
raw. He like, you know, he was like, you know, I want to see your blemishes. I want to see. You know what I mean? I want to get up close personal with it.
Your skin is freaking perfect, by the way.
Thank
That's all I'm going to tell you. Sitting next to this
and you're
flawless, right?
And he's worried about wrinkles.
Like from the time he walked in, because I've never seen him without makeup, and the skin is like what you can't even imagine. I hate you.
Oh, no.
So that is really incredible. But as a collaborative process,
so
it all
wonderful.
came to it all.
Yeah,
came
and especially because we took our time with it.
But how long
to
did
young
you
artists, I can't stress enough. Take your time,
Mhm.
do it when it's ready. Like, don't rush things, because if you rush things, you're gonna look back and be like, oh, I wish I'd like taken more time with this to like really make sure that it was ready, you know. And don't be afraid to say like, I want to see this in another way, or let's do this again. I want to you know, explore this other angle too, you know. That's something that I definitely learned was right in that process, that we took about 8 months to like fully develop.
So this took a bit of, I was going to ask, like the time frame, is that typical to do a piece with a small crew?
Well, initially we were going to rush it, I think. We were going to, you know, like conceptualize it in November, have it ready by like January or something. And over time, both of us just thought, I think that we just need more time to like really be sure of ourselves and really like make sure it's right.
Yeah,
and
once you're in it, you feel it.
Yeah,
you feel that.
Yeah. I can't remember what it was specifically. Oh, I think it must have been that like that people were out of town, or we were nervous about the second wave. That was during that time.
Oh, so wow.
So the team had to be small too. That was the other thing.
But the thing I also love is that you have proved here, because I love to prove this, is that you don't need 25, 30 people on the crew. You can produce and create art. Fabulous art with a minimum number of people if everybody is invested.
A very small budget if people are invested and creative.
And I gotta really shout out to those cast members too, because they built those looks themselves. They really like pulled up for me in that way, and it's just that's such a meaningful creative thing. But also Keith, the actor playing the Phantom, he filmed all of his stuff in reverse because we wanted him to look. I love that. We wanted him to look creepy, and he's the most powerful. He's like the super boss of all of them, you know, and the thing that's not of this world. Like we can kind of identify, like, you know, that's a praying mantis, that's a sea monster, you know, but he's supposed to be this thing that we can't comprehend, you know, and so that knows where we are, you know, and fear itself, I guess, is you know, and so
fear of the unknown,
fear of darkness.
Yes. And but he was such a trooper, did it as many times as we needed, and I'm like super grateful to him, you know. Beautiful, wonderful, and talented.
Now, if I ask anyone what is it like to work with Vegas Valentine, are they going to tell me you're a perfectionist?
I think so.
Yeah.
Good. I would say that I appreciate excellence, you know. I appreciate
you don't look like you give people a pass, by the way, in any of the things I've seen you do. The show I saw you do here on this small stage, the choreography, I'm like, how the hell did you had people woven in and out of each other. It was
actually a routine that Madonna, a specific routine that Madonna did.
Didn't mean that someone could execute it as fine as you did. And you did, it was beautiful.
Now, how can people find out more about Vegas Valentine?
Well, I've got a website. It needs updating, but I've got one. It's vegasvalentine.com. You can buy some hoodies and some t-shirts and stuff there. You can find me on Spotify and Apple Music, everywhere you can stream music. Vegas Valentine is the name. It's fairly easy to find. There's like a little dragon logo. I'm on Instagram, Vegas Valentine Music. Cool. And yes, I am available, so slide into the DMs.
Well, wonderful.
I won't say I'm lonely because I'm very autonomous and I'm very, good.
Yeah, no, I get that. I totally
Vegas
get that.
Valentine, thank you so much. We so appreciate your coming and sharing part of your life and your time and your journey with us.
Course.
We do appreciate that.
And thank you, everybody.
Bye.
And now, okay, that ends the broadcast portion. Now we get to chat and talk.
My favorite
now you guys get to ask me
Yeah.
everything you wanted to ask me on the show.
But we're right.
But we were being
But
professional.
we're being too polite.
This is what I call the after party. She calls it the afterbirth.
Afterbirth. Now comes the afterbirth. It's messy, but we gotta go.
Yeah. Well, it's an honor to cut this cord.
So,
I love that.
firstly, Fathom. I mean, where did that come from?
Yeah.
Where?
The song was actually a very traumatic thing. I was
seems like it, yeah.
I was sexually assaulted at some point,
no.
and the friend group that I was around kind of disengaged from it. They didn't
deal with it.
They didn't support you through it.
They didn't help me through it. They didn't help me through it. They more or less, I mean, I want to say they ghosted me en masse. It was very hard.
Terrible.
They were just closer to the other person in the situation. And,
goodness.
Did they doubt what you were saying? And
I don't think they did. I just don't think that they wanted to
acknowledge,
to get into the
involved,
conflict.
to get into it.
To get into the conflict.
Right.
I think that was what it was. And I had, I had a rough go of it because I felt alone for a really time. And I felt like maybe I was making it all up. You know what I mean?
Right. You question.
So you feel like maybe you're making it worse than it is.
Yeah.
But it was horrible.
Yeah.
So there you go.
It
with
wasn't
that.
it wasn't a good thing. So that was where the lyrics came from.
Mm-hmm.
And I sent the album version of the track to a friend, Naeem Hakim. He goes by Shah Dubs Music on all the things, and so you can check him out. He makes these really crazy, weird, bendy beats. And I said, would you care to remix this for a remix package I'm thinking about releasing? And he had it done within a day, and it was the coolest thing I'd ever heard. And I was like, this is
amazing.
This is miraculous. And I think this is what the video has to be. And the video's got to be to this version of the song. Right. And so that, is how that process sort of
wow. But again, I can see the trauma and all of that in there with the feeling of abandonment, mistrust, this monster's here, this frightening thing's here, that frightening thing, and that big, the unknown, not knowing. That's
they all
sad.
represent different things too.
Right.
The mantis, that's supposed to be panic and fear,
Right.
And then Megami, the sea monster's like sadness, depression, sorrow, and then the dragon is anger, rage, and the big beast of them all, fear, abandonment, those more complex, strange, like more nuanced, harder to
all
grasp
of this I could see, and I could see all of these characters in like an anime.
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
Anime inspired,
having like
it.
the sea monster and all of it.
I mean that truly is. Definitely, that was a huge compliment to me because I do love anime. I love, I feel like it's a very like creative and outside
art form.
Art form.
And so are you.
So
are you. You're very. That's what I mean. I keep saying attuned. You're very attuned to who you are and what you want to present or what you're going through in life. Because in life you will go through a lot of stuff. A lot of good, a lot of bad, a lot of creepy, a lot of weird, a lot of up and down. And you have a unique talent of portraying your emotions what your emotions are going through.
And it comes out and visually in the work. The whole time I was thinking, watching this, nobody taught you how to do this. That's what's still so amazing
what's
to me. Like,
about it.
You came to New York, you know, with like your backpack and X amount of dollars. You hadn't really, you know, gone to like video school or NYU's film program. You didn't do any of those things, but yet you were able to do this. It's amazing to me.
I mean, I've you know, I've been around like Burning Man events too. So I've seen people like build things from nothing. And I've also like spent some time as a cosplayer, and there's a fantastic creativity there. So like you learn things, you pick things up, and you get like, you know, you get inspired by other people that are creating.
Well,
you know,
again, you've got this creative element, definitely a creative element to your soul.
It's unique to
and you absorb other creatives, like you were saying, at Burning Man, at this and that. You watch and observe the creators, and because that's who you are, and then
you put it into your own work in your own unique way.
Those are great inspirations.
Well, thank you for. I mean, also, but like sometimes I wonder if I'm being vulnerable. You, as a songwriter, you kind of like go through this. Am I being vulnerable enough, or like, am I, you know? And it is, because it's hard. It's hard to look at the things honestly and be like, okay, we'll put this out there, you know, and for everybody to just, you know, like have their way with, you know, but you know, it's nice to hear, you know, that it's, you know, that it's reaching people, that it's and you know,
my thing too is put it out there, and it's hard to do, to put your soul out there for people to criticize and all of that, but because when you start thinking, oh, will this sell, or oh, will I get enough clicks or likes, or will
are people dancing?
Are people dancing to it?
That's when your art starts going it starts deforming, so try to stay true to it.
This is such complex characters, very cosplay. The video I saw that you did with Marcel, he was in a video with you. We've done a couple of like virtual performances. They were great. It was equally as great in a totally different direction. What was your process for that?
Well, we did
I love Marcel, by the way. Oh my God.
I love him. Marcel, you are my heart.
Marcel, shout out for Marcel. I want to have him on the show too.
Definitely.
I already talked to him about that.
So much fun. He would be so much fun.
He's great.
He's a whole vibe.
But what was the process with that? It was really wonderful.
Well, I had been producing this event called Full Length LP with Desi 5, who used to.
I love that.
I don't know Desi 5.
Desi, or no, I'm sorry. I'm thinking 5. Never mind. Go ahead. I'm thinking 6'5" or 6.
6'5", 6'7".
6'5", I think is his name. Producer and
great. I'm a fan.
But no relation to Desi 5.
But Desi 5, I've heard of. I don't know that.
Dallas legend and lived in New York for some time, and he was producing this event called Full Length LP, which celebrated full length albums, and so it was an album tribute show.
Nice.
And when COVID happened, he moved back home to Dallas, and he said, "Hey, babe, if you want to keep this going, like you can, but I think I'm like, I'm hanging it up."
But
and Marcel at the same time called me and was like, "Hey, you know, do you want to do this in a digital format and just
that's what it was? That's what I saw.
Make music videos and like I was like, like low budget, little MTV, the little things, one-offs. I was like, I would be into that. Like, let's talk about this, make it happen." At the same time as that happened, Honey Davenport called me and she was like, "I need some more stuff for my Twitch channel. Do you want to host a show on my Twitch?" I was like, so all the things like happened right at the right time. And so we just started calling everybody who was itching to create.
That's
and we were
what we did.
We can't pay you much, but like we would love to like do this with you if you're interested.
We did these shows.
But again, those are good creatives to have around you.
I never did anything like this till the pandemic, and then I was in everyone's they call them variety shows,
right.
And I was so nervous, because I didn't know technologically what I was doing.
Right,
I would have to drink a whole bottle of wine. I would keep it next to me on my couch and be watching for when it was my turn. I was so afraid, like I don't know, my audio wouldn't be right, or I would pixelate. People don't even know what. Or I got the spinning thing, or there was always something hanging over my head. But what it was. It toughened me the hell up, and it's what I do now.
It was a learning curve.
It was a learning curve.
But
I could have lived without it. I'll be honest with you, but you know what? Here we
Listen,
are.
Well, as I said before, you two were some of the first people that I saw like coming out and being like, "It's okay, we're all like, you know, locked up. Let's like make the best of it," you know. And it really did give a lot of us permission to do the same. And so that's not.
But backing up, you kind of glossed over Honey
Honey Davenport.
Honey Davenport is like my little sister.
Oh.
We've done music videos together. We go back a ways.
She directed my video
love and adore her.
for Red Neon Light too, which is the song I was mentioning earlier.
Right.
She directed that, and
when you talk to Honey, please give her a big hug and a kiss from me.
Always, yes, always will.
She's great.
Yeah.
So what do you have anything planned? Anything coming up?
Well, I'm working on the second album.
Ooh, yeah.
Like slowly but surely,
Nice.
but you know, as I said before, I like to like take my time, make sure it's right.
Yeah.
And I want to make 2 more music videos from this album.
From this one?
From
Good.
this album. So I'm working on getting those together. So to flesh out and finish off the story. You know? And then we'll start doing some new stuff. You know,
It's exciting.
But also that digital program has now gone live. We're still doing it. Vinyl Fantasy.
Sweet.
It's a monthly.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of.
Yeah.
You do the
at
monthly show.
It's $1 bills.
That's $3
You gave me $3 bills. You gave me the card for it.
Yeah.
And now tell everybody about that.
So it's sort of the same concept as I was doing with Desi 5. It's a little more like, I guess, fresh coat of paint, a little more elevated. We got 2 more fantastic producers, and Andrew Leonard and JR Price, who are helping us.
JR.
Yeah.
Oh, we love JR.
We love JR.
Major talent. So JR is one of the producers on it. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
So we put it together. It's a celebration of pop albums, and it's mostly a concert model, but we celebrate drag too. We celebrate variety. We celebrate burlesque. We celebrate other art forms as well, but it's we're really trying to the songwriters and the musicians out there, we're really trying to give them
a platform,
especially in the queer scene, like, because it's so saturated with drag, which I don't malign, but it, there gets to be a point where we're like, well, we want, because as queer artists, like, music venues don't always take us seriously.
Oh, God, Tim.
You are preaching to the choir.
Right here.
Venues don't always take us seriously. They're and then
we have to pave our way.
Queer venues are like, well, you're not drag, so like, where how do you fit? And so I've started to try. I mean, and as you've seen through the production value I like to deliver is like, I've kind of almost like borrowed a little bit from drag and been like, well, if they want drag, then I'll give them that like level of like thing.
Level of thing. That's exactly right.
We'll throw in a touch of that.
Yeah. I'll give them a surprise. I'll give them a costume change. I'll give them like the things that they like from drag shows. But
smart.
But I like to sing. I like to dance. I like to and I like to write. Share my written work as well. So, like, if I can just like put all those things together, but Vinyl Fantasy is a fun show. We've got one coming up on September 19th, I think is the date. We're doing Battle of the Boy Bands.
It's Monday nights.
Yeah. Monday evenings at $3 bill, once a month.
Right.
So it's a different, sometimes it's the last Monday of the month. We're trying to get away from that because we don't want to compete with holidays.
Right. Right.
Always at the end of the month.
Right.
So we're trying to get away from that and do it sort of mid-month moment.
I love that concept. Firstly, if you ever need an older singer, a gay singer, call me.
You got it.
Secondly, JR is also like my baby brother. He's like my little brother.
I love JR. Yeah.
I was talking with my music producer the other day, and JR and I are both Geminis, and it's so funny because we do like interact kind of like twins a little bit. He's like the bubbly, like effervescent one, and I'm like the moody, like the misunderstood one. Yeah.
That's a great combo.
Yeah, it's very yin and yang, and so a lot of times we will like have a lot of the same, like, the same inclinations, but just in like the two sides of a different coin, and so we'll see things very differently, but also very the same at the same
I'm
time.
excited
So
about
cool.
both of you. I look at you, since you came to New York, and JR, who's recent, and
Yeah.
I'm really looking
loving
5
this.
years down the road,
And
and
I'm-
like I wonder what they'll be like, because
Yeah.
I'll still be out there. I've been in clubs for decades, so
Right.
it's sad.
Yeah.
But
To see the graduating classes,
I love
like,
it.
Yeah,
I do. I love going to the shows. Believe me, if $3 bills was in New York, I would really be there. I've been to that venue once. I think I told you, $60 in an Uber in both directions. It's like it
Right.
breaks
Where was
the
that
bank. It's in Brooklyn.
In-
It's
yeah,
on,
in Brooklyn.
what
Yeah.
street?
okay.
I know the street that it's on.
Meserole.
Meserole.
Meserole,
It's on
yeah,
Meserole.
yeah.
But
Sure.
things have gotten so crazy with the subways at night. I
Yeah.
don't want to do that. I'm dying to go. I'm just letting you
Yeah.
know that. We'll
Yeah.
go one night.
Yeah,
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 definitely.
for
We'll go.
sure. Yeah. So we pick a different
When is your
album every
next
month,
Monday
yeah.
night?
It's the September 19th, I think, and so that's what
Mhm.
we're gonna go with.
And it starts at what, like 11?
No,
10?
it starts earlier. It's an
Oh.
earlier showtime. 8 o'clock to 10. 8 to 10
Oh, good.
is usually
Okay.
the window that we like to do.
All right.
And we'll pick a different like album, so it's celebrates a
That's
different
sweet.
artist every month. And this
Love
month
it.
we're celebrating NSYNC and Backstreet Boys
Nice.
together for
Oh
the
my
first
God, I
time.
remember, but that's
Nice.
amazing.
Yeah, so
Right.
it's
I
like
love
it's like
NSYNC,
Battle
right.
of the Boy Bands,
I
right?
love
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
What,
it'll be fun.
what great themes to have.
Yeah, fun. It'll be
Yeah,
fun.
but again, creative.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
creative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't tell anyone, but I'm
No.
Team Backstreet Boys, but I'll be playing the
Oh.
part of an Team NSYNCer. So
Oh.
I'll be
You're just
I'll be
Timberlake.
incognito. I'm probably JC actually.
Uh-huh.
If I JC was the one that I was like, oh, I like his voice. I think he's got a cool
He was your
vibe. Yeah,
favorite.
he was sort of my fave. Yeah, for sure. And then his solo. I mean, this is like totally off tangent, but I really like his solo album too. It's very funky.
Yeah, I
it's
don't think
very.
I've ever heard that.
It's
I haven't heard
schizophrenic.
it,
It's
yeah.
a great
Really?
album.
Huh.
Yeah. I preferred it. I mean, everybody was listening to Justin Timberlake's Justified, you know,
Right.
but Schizophrenic has a special place in my heart. It's
Mhm.
super sexy, and it's like and there's a lot of different like genres, definitely a lot of funk on it. So
Mhm.
it's cool. Yeah.
Yes.
Really
Ve-
cool.
Exciting.
Yeah,
Right, I
I'm
love it.
loving this.
Yeah,
I
me
am
too.
so proud of you.
Thank you.
So proud of you.
Likewise.
Just keep
So cool.
moving, keep
got it.
moving
Yeah, keep
forward,
on
keep
moving.
growing, keep expanding, you're
Peeling
on
away
path.
the layers. Yeah.
You're on the path.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just keep it up.
What do we say? Keep doing what you do.
Yes. And again, thank you so much for watching If These Walls Could
Thank you,
Talk with your host,
everybody.
Wendy Stuart and Tym Moss, and our amazing, wonderful guest. I love this guy, Vegas Valentine.
Can you
Bye,
show
guys.
everybody you're beautiful? Yeah,
Yeah.
these are like
the gauntlets.
because
Love
before
these.
he leaves, I'm ripping these off right now because I must have.
So if you
them.
see her in them tomorrow, you
Yeah.
know what happened.
Wait, I want to do something for a minute. Yeah, look, that's my arm now. Look how nice that looks on me.
You've been working out?
I do work out. Very strong.
All right. Well, thank you so
Thank
much.
you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.